Good morning, folks. Rick at Double Portion here. It's almost Christmas time. Another year's come and gone. It's really hard to believe this has happened already. So we're here today to do a update to the new rig I've got built here, the Axial Capra. You've probably seen some of the videos on it. I was thinking it was doing pretty good. Still needed some tuning, so we were just having issues with it, just being able to get it to, I believe, what we call mechanical bite. It just didn't seem to have that low end crawl like the Sport does here. So Dan ran a bunch of numbers for it, and we think we figured out what the deal is. The Sport itself, stock, comes up, I believe, with a 3912, 39 spur gear, 12 pinion, and the gear ratio is about 32.5 to 1. If you're running overdrive in it with the same, with a 1245, which we went to help slow it down, you got a 53.25 to 1. If you're running an overdrive with the same 1245, you got about a 47.43 to 1, and that's what I'm running in here. I'm running the overdrive, so we're running at about 47.43 to 1. So he did the math, and the Capra stock is running, I was running the lowest pinion I think I could put in it was 11, and I believe the gear in is a 34, which you don't have a option of where do you want to go from there. It's kind of, you're stuck to what's in there, and that's a 38.5 to 1. We're thinking that that's why this Capra is doing so. I mean, it does good for your regular, running and stuff, but when you get down to testing it against the Sport, especially, you guys probably know me. If it's not better than what I have, I ain't got room for it. So we're tuning it up, deciding to try this. I really like the axles. We got rid of the frame, then we put a custom frame underneath it, and rear steer. Them are all great and they work good. They just don't compare to the Sport yet. So what we figured out is the gear ratio is 38.5 to 1, which is why it's so fast. You just don't have a slow crawl. You try and go slow, and it just wants to load up and then unload. It's just really, it's not a good thing. So for me, personally, I like driving something that's nice and slow. You got plenty of mechanical grip, and that helps you crawl things. So what we decided to do is another modification we're going to do to this. Let me pull the top off and I'll show you what we're going to do. Hi folks, we're back now. So this is what we decided to do. Decided to put another $300 into this unit and built a Vanquish 3-gear old school transmission, which I pretty much have used in most of my stuff up till when the Sport came out. I tried it, but it was just, the gear ratio was just too off, so I didn't leave it in there. So I built up another one. There's about another $300 that we're going to sink into this and see if we can get it to work properly. The funny thing about it is I didn't realize, but Dan was telling me how heavy this transmission is that comes out of their stock Capra transmission, and believe it or not, this transmission alone is 2 grams lighter than a full aluminum with Hurst dig Vanquish spur protector here. This is minus the servo. This is only 2 grams heavier than this brick. So weight wise, it should be okay. It's probably going to be maybe 3-4 grams total, besides taking out the small micro servo, putting in this 10 scale servo, which is what I've been using forever. It's just awesome. So the main part, what we're getting into here, the availability, is to adjust that gear ratio, that final drive. So with a 54 tooth, I ran the mod here, so I'm running the Revo or the Revo spur gears. This is a 54 tooth with a AX10 lockout on it, so that I can run this gear instead of just the big stock gears. So you can run this 54, which you don't have to. You can still run the 56 and then adjust your pinion to get where you want to do, but I wanted to go full on, so this is where I'm starting at. So with the 54 spur and a 18 pinion, that'll put us at about 50 to 1. If we drop that down to a 17 pinion, we're at about 53.35 to 1. If we drop this down farther to a 14 tooth, we're at 64.7 to 1, give or take a little bit. So if you're going to run the 56 tooth spur, it'll adjust this up, but just by a couple of numbers there, so it's not going to be that big a deal because you're changing the spur and not the pinion. So we're hoping that this here is going to solve our lack of mechanical grip and being able to start out nice and slow, both going uphill and going downhill. It was just too jerky. By the time everything would catch up with each other, it seemed to want to jump around and stuff. Check out the video, see what you think. Don't get me wrong, it did well, but not well enough. So we're going to put some more money into this thing and check it out, see how it goes. Now, I have already ran just the stock plastic axial transmission and the stock axial, or it would be for a Wraith or a dig unit, and I ran it around a little bit. Night and day difference. Gear ratio is nice and slow. So, and also I went to this, what helped the decision by going this is this way with the Vanquish dig on it, is I was not happy with the dig unit on this. We ran that new Reefs 80 or 90 ounce servo on it to help the dig, but this is really crap. You can't use it. It's awesome if you're just going on the flat, turn around, corners, maybe trail riding, it's not bad, but when you're really getting down to it, doing some comp crawling, so to say, this does not work for me. It may work for you, right on. Me, it sucked. I was really disappointed with this. You cannot get up on an incline, and when you go to shift it in and out, you almost have to relax the drivetrain for it to shift either locked or unlocked or in a neutral state. It was just, the whole thing almost wound up in the creek. I was so disappointed with it. So I know this works. I've used this on many rigs. This setup right here, 3 position. You got locked, neutral, and then full wheel lock. So we're going to put it in today. I've already got everything kind of set up on here. It went pretty well. My buddy Dan was telling me that when we were talking about doing this, because of the issues that we're having, that he said that it'll pretty much, it kind of sits down in there already, especially with a custom chassis. The motor's going to stick out a little bit where it did. So it didn't take much modifying at all, and I'll let you take a quick peek of how to did it. And this is just the first run. This is just to see if this is going to work. Dan's working right now on a custom skid plate for it, so we'll be able to position this motor / transmission assembly a little bit farther forward, get that forward bite. So I'll pull the top on here, and I'll just kind of let you see a little bit what I did to it to be able to fit this old school 3-gear transmission. Okay folks, here we go. I know it's kind of hard to see in there. Sorry, I don't have a studio like a lot of people. I'm just kind of working out of my kitchen here. But as you can see, this area right here is perfectly flat to set the 3-gear transmission in there. And actually one of the holes here lines up perfectly with the rear hole in the, I believe in this hole right here. So it kind of lines up well right off the bat. I'm only using 3 of the mounts right now, just because of the other one would be right here in the middle of this link, which ain't gonna work. What I did is I filled this up with epoxy right here, just to allow, when you bolt down these 2 from the bottom, it'll give it something solid to squeeze against. So like I say, this is just going to be the first run that we're just doing this to see if it's going to work, and we got a whole other plate coming. I did cut off one of my the mods that I did, which I found worked well, is to drop these links all the way out of the adjustments and bring it right out to the bolt that holds the chassis to the frame. So I went ahead and sheared that, cut that off there, ground that down. Same thing with the other side here. Did this mainly so that I could have room to interchange pinion gears while it's in the vehicle. As you can see, this here open window here is going to make that really easy and awesome to do. This is where the motor sits right here. So all in all, I mean, it really fits in there nicely. You could do some mods, grinding some more stuff out here. I got rid of the servo mount because I'm never going back to that. And if this doesn't work, I'm going to buy a new plate for it, put it on there with the stock stuff, and I'm going to sell it because this just is starting to get disheartening, all the money I'm putting into this thing. But one more thing, $300, we're going to try and see if we can get this really to work. So this is where we at. This is my chore for today. It's kind of, so this is my chore for today. It's really rainy outside today, which is probably raining everywhere here. Christmas is in a couple of weeks, so this will give me something to do. And this here is the thing right here that started it all. This sport is so awesome. And if I cannot build something to beat this sport, to outcrawl it, then the sport remains top dog. But as far as right now, we're going to try this and see. All right, folks, so we will see you. Stay tuned and check out the videos. Let me know if you got any questions. God bless. Bye-bye. Hello, folks. I forgot to show you that this Vanquish unit, real work of art. They do some awesome work. Vanquish case, all metal gears inside. The Vanquish Hertz dig. You can set it up 3-position, 2-position, however you want. It's got plenty of awesome, plenty of leverage here so that it can shift well. Vanquish also makes this spur gear cover. Goes on their special plate right here, lightened, strengthened. So pretty much this is it. This is what's going in her. As you can see, there's that lockout I was telling you about, old school. AX10, I think, is where I got that from. Beautiful. So next time you see this, it's going to be in that baby right there. All right, God bless y'all. See you later. Okay, here we are. So as you can see, it fits in there really nice and snug. Plenty of room right there to change my pinion gears. I think it fit rather nicely. As you can see, here's where I have it bolted in. And I put a metal retainer in the middle there so that when this pulls the plate down, it'll be good and solid. Here's the other bolts. I mean, this is going to be refined probably with the newer chassis, but everything spins freely. So anyway, we're gonna hook her all up now. I think it fit in there pretty nice. We'll see what's what. Alright folks, later.